Hi, I'm Dave Packer with Druva's product team, here to give you a quick overview of the capabilities of our Phoenix solution. Today's session is broken out into two segments. One, I'm going to give you a quick overview of Druva and our company, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jesse, who's going to give you a thorough walkthrough of the Phoenix administrative capabilities and how you can apply it to your infrastructure and your enterprise today. Quick overview of Druva. Druva is one of the fastest growing companies in the data protection space. Since being founded in 2008, Druva has received multiple awards and accolades for our innovative approach to data protection for today's enterprise, including receiving CODIA Awards 3 years running and top rankings by Gartner 3 consecutive times in a row. We've accomplished this by creating an innovative cloud-native platform that has been recognized by the industry and our over 3,000 customers for being best in class today. Druva designed Phoenix to help our customers reclaim the control they lost when data moved out of the core data center into remote sites and devices. Like many enterprises, our customers are dealing with an intermix of both physical and virtual environments spread across multiple geographies and sites. As a leader in converged data protection, we enable these businesses to return control to enterprise IT by providing data center class availability and governance to this new data landscape. Data availability, of course, being about recoverability and disaster recovery, and data governance really being about auditability and the ability to archive and store data for long periods of time. Druva Phoenix is built on Amazon's hyperscalable, distributed, and secure global public cloud infrastructure. Your company can leverage any of Amazon's 12 global regions to ensure data is nearby its operations, as well as aligns with the changing data privacy requirements of various countries and geographies. Druva also benefits from AWS's more than 18 different security certifications, ensuring your data is secure and protected no matter where it resides. Phoenix is built using a highly efficient global deduplication engine that reduces bandwidth requirements by up to 80%. This means it's light on your network, making it optimal for enterprises trying to meet tighter RTO and RPOs or dealing with limited bandwidth sites. Druva holds multiple patents on this technology, which deduplicates data at the block level, globally across all your servers. The underlying storage system is time indexed. It can easily address the purposes of traditional backup and recovery, but because of its real-time nature, the underlying data can be utilized to meet the broader needs of the business and used for multiple different purposes. It's on top of this platform that we've unified multiple services that can be added as required, for example, extending into business analytics, compliance, disaster recovery, and archival services, all on the same core data set that Phoenix is used to collect. It's by running this all together that Phoenix enables organizations to streamline their overall process, removing many of the legacy multi-tier infrastructure that is in place today with a direct cloud solution capable of servicing multiple workloads on the stored data that lies underneath. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Jesse to show you how Phoenix can be administered for your environment.
Hello. In this section, we're going to walk through the Druva Phoenix dashboard and how to configure physical servers to be protected. So you see the dashboard view in front of you here on the screen. The dashboard is designed to give you a nice bird's eye view summary of your environment. We break the the information into 5 separate panes. The last backup for 7 days worth of history. Deployment overview, which will give you a list of all the servers that have been configured or are unconfigured for backup. And unconfigured in this case means I've installed the actual Phoenix client on a physical server, and I just haven't configured that server for backup yet. So it's been registered, it's ready to go. On the virtual machine side, these are all the discovered virtual machines. So the breakdown of the unconfigured and configured. We'll dive into virtual machines in another video. On the recent alerts, I have a list of obviously recent alerts for this environment. And then I have my storage usage listed here with a 90-day trending graph. I have my total storage usage and then my cloud cache license and usage. So if I wanted to get some more information, say about a successful backups, or even let's say error backups that have failed, I can simply click on the link on this 3, And it'll bring me straight to the list of backup failures. And from within here, I can see the VM that had the backup failure, the end time for that backup start and end time, and I actually have an error code. So I can actually click on that error code, and what it'll do is it'll pop me right into the Phoenix knowledge base, bring me to that error code, and I can actually see all the reasons that failure might have occurred. So from there, I can troubleshoot the issue. I can kick off another backup of that machine, or I can open a ticket with support to help troubleshoot whatever issues might be. So I'm going to go back here to my dashboard again. And again, so within here, if I needed to, I do have a server out there that's unconfigured. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the configuration of that server and get that server backed up. So I'm going to click on the servers tab here. And here I'll have my registered servers. So here's the one, and then I have my configured servers. And these are the other 4. I'm going to click back on the registered here, and I'm going to select that server, and I'm going to do a configure for server for backup. And here we're going to walk through the backup wizard. So the server's been installed. Again, the Phoenix client has been running is running on that server itself. So here I'm going to walk through the configure server wizard, and I can choose a backup option. Is it a file server or is it a SQL database? We do have the SQL client. It's built into the client, into the Phoenix agent. So if it was a SQL server, we can perform hot backups of that SQL database. In this case, it is a file server, so I'm just going to choose file server. Here I can attach it to an existing server group, or I can attach it to a new server group. In this case, I'm going to actually walk through and create a new server group so you folks can see this. So I choose attach to a new server group and hit next. And in here, I'm going to create the server group. So let's just call this. Let's say this server is going to be part of a new group, and this group maybe is located on the West Coast. So I'm going to call this group West Coast. Maybe it's a remote site. I have sites spread across the country. I'm going to choose the storage that I want to use. With Phoenix, again, you have the ability to add any of the storage regions that the Phoenix service is running in, which would be any AWS data center globally. We'll add that region to your account, and you'll be able to choose it within the product. This helps for our customers who are international and they have to keep data in region for whatever safe harbor laws that they need to meet. So in this case, since this server is on the West Coast, I'm going to back this up to the East Coast. I can attach it to an existing backup policy, or I can actually create a new one. In this case, I'm going to create a new one so I can show you what it looks like here. And I'm going to call this West Coast policy. I can give it a description if I'd like. Again, the policy type is a file server. I'm going to choose next. And in here, I'm going to choose what I'm going to back up. So I can choose all folders, and I can do exclude certain file types. These are all the predefined file types that we have in the product, or if you wanted to, you could simply add in any kind of file type that you wanted to put. I can also remove these as well, so if I wanted to back up the video files, I could simply take that out. Underneath the exclude subfolders, you have the ability to put in subfolders for us to exclude. We have some predefined ones in here, and these are things like temp files and stuff that we just recycle bin, stuff that we just don't need to protect. If I wanted to back up just a specific directory on that server, I could simply type in that directory, choose add, and it will add that directory in there. And the excludes will still take place within that directory. So I'm actually going to select this out. I'm going to keep it to all folders in this case, and I'm going to choose next. And here's where I'm going to create my backup schedule. So I want this is local time to the server. So I'm actually going to want this backup to start at 9 p.m. at night. I'm going to let it run for 12 hours. Again, this is a backup window. So this is defining if the backup runs past that window, it'll automatically stop. During the initial sync, you might want the first backup, you might want to make that window a little bit larger just so we can get that initial backup completed. After that, we are doing a globally duplicated incremental forever backup. So the data that's actually being transmitted on a normal server is going to be fairly low. So I'm going to click back into the server backup here, and I can put a bandwidth cap on the server itself. And here I can choose bandwidth cap. So I'm just going to put 10 megabits in there. I'm going to choose it to run every day of the week, and I'm going to hit save. So now I've set my schedule for 9 p.m., 12 hours, 10 megabits, 7 days a week. I'm going to choose next. And here I can add it to an existing retention policy, right? How long do I want to keep those backups around for? Or I can actually create a new one. So for this purpose, I'm just going to create a new one to show you how this looks. So I'm going to call this West Coast Retention. Now, we're designed to meet pretty much any retention policy you have. So in here, we use a grandfather, father, son type of rotation. So if I wanted to say do 90 days of daily backups, I'm not worried about my weeklies. I want to do 12 month ends and then say I have a 7-year retention. I can apply those values there and then choose next. Here's my summary. So it's giving me I'm going to the US East here. Here's my backup folders, the stuff I'm backing up, the things I'm not backing up, my schedule, and my retention. And then I check fitness. And that's it. I've now applied that server to that server group, and it's ready to go. I can kick off the backup manually right now if I'd like, and just do backup now. So that's it from configuring a backup on a physical server. As far as restoring data on a server, it's as simple as selecting that server, and it's going to bring me to the dashboard for that server. Again, I get my 7-day history of backups, my bandwidth usage, and the storage usage for that actual server, what server group it's in, the policy it's using, and so on. I'm going to hit on the restore button here, and it's going to bring up my restore wizard. So Phoenix presents the data back and the restorable data back in a snapshot view. So I can scroll down and I can view all the available snapshots for this server. These are all point-in-time snapshots. I can simply select a point in time. On the right-hand side now, I've now browsed back to January 10th, and I can actually select the file system, and I can browse down straight through it. So in here, I can do a file level recovery, right? So restore a single file, or I can restore a whole folder, depends on what my needs are. And then I'm going to hit restore. I come up with a couple options. I can restore to the original server, I can restore it to the original location, or I can send it down to a different location on that server. So if I have a restore folder here, I can simply restore the folder to there. I also have the ability to restore data down to a different server. So if the Phoenix agent is running on that server, I can actually browse that server, select it, and restore data down to it. So this comes in handy with our customers who say maybe retire older file servers. They want to archive data off, and they need to retain it still for whatever retention they have in place. They can do that with Phoenix. We'll securely store the data on a redundant platform in the cloud, and we'll actually have it readily available to you for restore. So you can restore that data down to a different server for whatever purposes you have that require you to perform that restore. But you know what? I'm going to go back to the original server here. I'm going to go to the custom location. I'm actually going to keep it that restore folder. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to submit that restore request. The restore request has been submitted successfully in the background. I'm just going to exit out of here. I'm going to walk over to the Jobs tab, and I'm going to see all my running jobs. And again, I can filter this by all these different filters here. So job type. All right. So if I go to restore here, successfully. So it's showing me all my previous successful restores. Restores at 0%. I can hit refresh here. Let's see if it's finishing. Still going. So it's queuing up in the background. What we'll do is we'll come back to that. What I wanted to do is on the manage side here, just give you an idea from a policy or server group creation, all the pieces that make up the pie of a server group. So we have our retention policies here. Again, the one I just created here is the West Coast one, and again, I have the ability to create all these retentions I need, and then they'll be readily available when I want to create a backup policy. And the same thing as far as the backup policies. I can hear all the list of all the policies I've previously created. I can create another one and have it readily available for that group. And if I go to the server groups, here's all my groups, and you can see here, it can tell you how many servers are actually being in that group. And I can move servers from one group to another. So say I did want to move a server out of West Coast and move it into the Acme Boston group. I can simply go to that server and apply it to that group, and then at that point it will inherit those new policies. So let's jump back to our jobs here. I just want to see where the restore is. And it has completed, so it's successful. Only took a couple seconds for it to complete. I can go to that server now, and my file is going to be there. In this section, we're going to run through how Druva Phoenix protects and restores data from VMware environments. So within my dashboard, I'm going to go to my VMware section up on the top ribbon and click on that. And here you'll see a list of vCenters or hypervisors that have been registered with the Phoenix service. Phoenix, you can register against a standalone hypervisor, deploy a proxy on there, or you can register it against a vCenter server, which will auto-discover all the VMs and all the hosts that are associated, that are being managed by that vCenter. So I'm just going to actually go to this .56, which is a vCenter server. So within here, I have an auto-discovered list of all the VMs, the hypervisor that those VMs are on. As you can see here, I have my .50, and here's another host, the .150. And then I have the configuration status, which actually will list if the VM has been configured or not. So you can see some of these VMs are configured already, which means that they're being backed up. They've been applied to a server group and are currently under protection. If I go to my configured virtual machines tab, it gives me the list of all the configured virtual machines. So in this case, again, I have 4 of them. They're spread across 2 hosts. They're all part of the Acme server group. There's a proxy that they're using. They're all in the enabled state, last backup status, and the last backup job ID, which again is an interactive link. So if there were any error messages in here, I could simply click on that and get the job information for that backup. So to add a virtual machine to be backed up, I'm going to go back to the All Virtual Machines tab, and I'm going to find myself a VM that needs to be protected. So let's choose one here. I think this guy works. So if I choose them and hit configure, it's going to bring up the configure VM for backup wizard. So I have a couple options in here. I can decide which proxy I want to back them up to. Most likely you want to have them on the proxy that's on the that host. In this case, it is proxy 4. In here, I can add it to an existing server group. These are all my predefined ones, or the ones I've created already. Or I can walk through and create my own server group. For this purpose, I'm actually just going to keep it on my Acme VM. I want it to be part of that same group as all my other VMs, and I'm going to choose next. It's just going to fetch and give me all the information about that server group, and the things that it's going to tell me here is I'm using the Druva East data center. I'm using a backup schedule. It runs at 11 p.m. for 7 hours with a bandwidth cap of 1 megabit. And then I have a retention policy of 31 dailies and 12 monthlies. All these, the configuration is we go into detail about how you can create what we call server groups in a different demo. And I implore you to go and check that out as well. So I'm just going to hit finish here. I'm now attaching that server to that group. Now if I go back to my configure tab, we can see that VM has been added. And it's going to kick off the backup according to the schedule, which I believe was set to 11 o'clock tonight. At any time, I can actually come in here, select the virtual machine, and hit backup now if I just want to get that backup done right now. So it's as simple as that. As far as restores go, let's just go into a restore here. So let's just choose one of our servers, and we'll choose let's choose this guy right here. I'm going to select that server. This is a VM again. And I'm brought to the dashboard for that virtual machine. And in here, I can get some good information about that VM, the backup history. I can get some bandwidth usage and also the actual capacity usage being used. On the right-hand side here, I have my configuration. So again, which group it's in, which backup policy it's using, which retention policy. Again, I have the ability to click backup now if I wanted to. In this case, I'm going to go to the restore. And so there's a few options when restoring data with Druva Phoenix. The first option is I can restore a virtual disk. Right? So I could restore VMDK. I could redirect that VMDK to another host. I could mount it to another VM, and I could use the data as needed. On the left-hand side here, I have all the versions I can restore from. Right? Phoenix presents the restorable versions as a snapshot, point-in-time snapshot, and it will go down in time according to whatever my retention policy is. The other option restoring a VM is a full VM restore. Oops. And here I can choose the entire VM. I'm going to restore the whole virtual machine. I can restore the VM to the original location if I want to, or I can send it to an alternate location. Within here, it's going to go out. It's going to find all the data stores that Phoenix can communicate with, and I could choose any of those hosts, and I could redirect it down to that hypervisor. Again, this would be if I wanted to move a VM or maybe restore another virtual machine and do some work on it, use it for a test dev purpose, whatever it might be. I have the ability to redirect the whole VM restore down to a different environment. I'm just going to exit out of here. And then the third feature here is our file level restore. So what it's doing here is it's going out and it's requesting a list of the file system from the back end. And this is really powerful, right? So there's no additional processing that has to go on as far as the backup goes or on the host itself. All this is done within the Phoenix engine. And so what we're doing here is we're actually just in the background we're mounting the file system either from the cloud cache or from the cloud, and we're going to present back a browsable file system. So give a second here to come back. And there it is. So I have all my volumes that are as part of this VM, and I can simply browse down through that file system. Let's see if I have any data on this disk. And I can simply choose a file or folder that I wanted to restore. So it's as easy as that to get a single file back or single folder back from a virtual machine. Again, no extra plugins, no extra processes or configuration that I have to do as an admin. It's done automatically. It's always available as an option.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate the detailed overview of Phoenix and how it addresses the needs of both physical and virtual server environments for today's enterprise. If you'd like to learn more about Phoenix or even try it out for yourself, please contact sales@druva.com or go to the URL that's listed on the screen in front of you. Thank you again for attending today's session. And if you'd like to learn more about Druva, please go to our website and look under our resources section. Enjoy the rest of your day.